Hello, my name is Alveda, and I regret my abortion, and I believe that abortion should be recalled. I was born into a Christian family and a pro-life family, and in 1950, it was a secret, but my mother had heard about an organization that could help her not have me, and it was called Planned Parenthood, and so she wanted an abortion, but my grandfather told her, don't do that, that I was a person, and that he had seen me in a dream 3 years before that, and I had bright skin and bright red hair, and I would grow up to be a blessing. That was a secret, and our family, I was in a family of preachers, and we were taught to choose Jesus, to love Jesus, that life was sacred and precious. I got married in 1969, and my daddy walked me down the aisle, and I got pregnant on my honeymoon. A week later, my dad was killed, but I was pregnant, and in the midst of our sorrow, our family was happy to have new life in our family. That baby was born, and the doctor, I did not know this, but he was also affiliated with Planned Parenthood. And because my daddy had been killed the year before, my uncle had been killed, I was looking for a male figure to take the place of, my daddy and my uncle. My granddaddy was real sad. I couldn't talk to him. My mother was very sad. I couldn't talk to her. So I was pregnant, had the baby, and I went back for my 6 weeks checkup. Everything was fine. And then within 3 months, I went to the doctor. And I said, well, doctor, my body is not back, and I don't, have a cycle. I wasn't breastfeeding because he had advised me not to breastfeed. And he said that was old-fashioned. Don't do that. So instead of him giving me a pregnancy test, he said, you don't need another baby, let's see. And he was affiliated with Planned Parenthood. People in the community didn't know it. He was a trustee in our church, well respected, a medical doctor. But he decided that I was pregnant. He didn't tell me, so it was coercion. In his office, he did a local D&C, and that was my first abortion. It was coerced. So then the advice he gave me, don't talk to your family, don't talk to anybody at the church. Let me send you to this nice place, Planned Parenthood. They'll be your best friend. Now, I'm still young, married, not even talking to my husband, my family, nobody at the church, trusting that, and I get to Planned Parenthood. I'm post-abortive now. One living child and an aborted baby. That was Philip. I named Philip later. So over the next several months, my whole personality changed. I was crying, my appetite changed, I wasn't feeling well, I was arguing, I was secretive, I couldn't talk to anybody about my pain. I realized then something was really wrong. And this went on from 1970 to 1973. In 1973, I was a different person now. All of a sudden, a woman has a right to choose what she does with her body. I was becoming no longer pro-life, I was what was called pro-choice. So I was separated from my husband, and we tried to get back together, and this time I knew I was pregnant. I absolutely knew I was pregnant. I didn't talk to my family, I didn't talk to the church, I didn't talk to Jesus, talked to Planned Parenthood. They said, you're having enough problems, you just need to get an abortion. It doesn't hurt worse than pulling a tooth. So I had the second abortion, and I always regret that I made that decision. I chose. The baby's daddy didn't want the baby. It was coercion, but I was involved. And I remember my insurance paid for it. If the medical insurance had not paid for it, I would not have aborted that baby. And I was in the hospital, and I was talking to the people around me, and I said, something's wrong. This is not right. Oh, be quiet, you'll be okay. I woke up, and I wasn't okay. I felt a sense of emptiness, grief, anger, frustration, pain. I really can't tell you all the things that I was feeling. There again, though, I couldn't talk to my granddaddy. I couldn't talk to my mama. I couldn't talk to my family. I couldn't talk to the church. So Planned Parenthood gave me several kinds of birth control. All those made me sick. I ended up divorced in the mid-1970s, and I ended up I was drinking, divorced, promiscuous, just everything, not going to church, I was just a different woman. In the mid-1970s, I got pregnant while I was being promiscuous. But the baby's daddy said, I was going to get an abortion. I just mentioned it to him. He says, no, that's 46 chromosomes. 23 from me, 23 from you. I want mine back alive. He said that. I talked to my granddad. He said, they're lying to you. That's not a lump of flesh. That's my great-grandchild. My grandfather, Martin Luther King Sr. So because of the two of them, I kept that child. So that was my fifth child, but second living child. And from a little girl, I had always said I was going to have 6 children. So after that, I got born again in 1983. I ended up conceiving altogether and keeping 6 children, but conceiving 9 children. And I had to finally get my complete healing from Rachel's Vineyard. I first became Silent No More myself early in this century. And then I went to Rachel's Vineyard for healing. And over those years, I came back to my own family values. And I continued to tell the truth. And today I actually am healed. At 62 years old, I have friends who have died from conditions, having the abortions like I'm telling you, and I'm alive. Jesus has healed me, and I'm very grateful. And this testimony and being with my brothers and sisters today and all of you, give me the courage to remain silent no more, healed and blessed in the name of Jesus, and standing to insist that our government recall abortion. And that is why I'm silent no more. Thank you.